Everybody, in this video we talk about how we getting data from the database. We talked in a previous video how we could add data. So we talk how to getting data from database. So make sure you see previous video. So now I want to do query. So okay, I'll define new method for bringing data. So if someone bring data to me, this data will be as a table. So they do define table in the Android. So I will define cursor in this way. Cursor look like a table from number of rows. It's okay, I will define cursor. This method will be query or getting data. So this cursor will getting number of method. Which column I will select from? I know if in the SQL statement you write in this way, you say select, for example, name, age, from let me be more specific, select username and password from like logins, then I will say where ID equal 1. This part will be named as a projection. So here first parameter I will pass projection. I'll say okay, projection, this will be as a string. So let me divide it as a string because he may be send number of projection, number of column. The second parameter will be the condition. So let me name it as a selection. So I make sure I give it string. I will say okay, this part will be selection, and the selection have arguments. So I will say okay, I have string of argument in this way, string of selection args in this way. Also I would say I would get string for order. Maybe someone want to order the data, order or sort order. Okay, you could name it as sort order. Okay, so this is a very basic method for query data. So just make sure when you do projection, this part will talk about the projection. So you just send array having the name of columns that you want. If you don't want to specify which column, just send null. Selection, what I want to select. So for example, I will select username and password. So then this is the selection argument. So what that means? If I say let me work, then I will tell you what that means. So let's be done from the selection. So in the selection, first you have to define SQL for the selection. First you say SQLite query builder for a query builder. So make sure you select the query builder, SQL query builder, VC query builder equal a new instance of SQL query builder, SQL query builder. This is because I just want to execute query in the database. Now I say okay, which table I will work in? I will say okay, set table, the table I will work with. I just give it the table name. Well, the table name I have it here on the top. My table is login. Yeah, I don't care about if you change it in the top. I just set it up here, the table that I will work on. Okay, I decide the table. Now I just getting the data. The data will come from table as a cursor. So C, you could name it, or you could name it cursor. Then you say okay, query builder dot I want to get query. Then I just give it the parameter of that query builder. Okay, I would say this I would send first. I would say the DB. I make sure DB. Do you know what DB? DB means this man. SQL DB. Then you pass the other parameter. First of thing he say projection. Okay, I have projection. Second he will talk about selection. I would say selection. I don't know why. Oh, here is capital. Let me make sure everything is capital so I will not do mistake when I sending data. Okay, projection, selection, then selection argument, then I pass other parameters for group by. If you want to do grouping, I don't have a group, so I will say null. If you want to do group by. Then also I would not do anything for having. If you have having in a SQL statement, but I have order, so I have sort order. So yes, I have everything now. For selection query, I just return this cursor. I just want to make my work more organized, no more. So you could run it another place. So yes, I just define my query builder. I define the table. Then I say okay, do this query, execute this query on this database, and getting the result. The result will be on cursor, as I told you, look as table, number of row, number of column. So how I would call this one? Just remember again, this sys will name projection, and this one selection and selection argument. So that's okay. Let me go back and try to do the load. The load part. The load part is not so difficult. So this here I'm in the loading. So in the load, first of thing I need to loading the data first. So the data will be as cursor. So I will say C cursor. What I want to execute, I want to DB manager. I will call query method. So a query, as you know, request number of arguments. First of thing, string of projection. So you have to define string in this way of a projection. So which column you want to take? You do want to take all the columns. So I would say, for example, projection. I would take 2 columns. I take user name, and I will take here. Then I will take the password. You just define the columns that you would take it. I just define, for example, only I will take 2 columns. I will ignore the ID. If you want to take all of them, you don't want to specify which column, that's okay. Just send null for this part. Now for the selection, which column I want to select. If I want to select all data, I just pass null. So what's the argument? If I pass in selection, I don't pass anything, should be this way also null. Do I want to order? I could say, okay, I want to order by username. Just I say, okay, order it by username, please. So the data will be ordered by username. I will talk more about this 3 next. So yes, here we go. This is the cursor. I have it. Now I have the cursor having number of element or number of row. I want to do some loop through this row. So okay, I say to do this loop, I say, okay, if cursor dot move to first, I just move it first and move to first to move it to the first element in the row. Then I will say, okay, let me now do some while loop. So I say do loop, then I say while here for to move to all the row that I have it. I say cursor, I'll tell you what this means, dot move next. What does this mean? We said cursor is a table, number of row and number of columns. So first I just move it to the first column. If there is item, okay, continue. If there is no item, go next. So if there is items, if he first item, just read them from the first item, then continue to the next and next and next and next and next. Now I want to take this data as string, then I want to display. So I string, I will say table data, then I will change it later to list view. So this table data, let me first, doesn't have anything. Okay, so table data plus I will add some information. I want to get and from every column the username. So how would I would get for username? If you see I have a cursor, so okay, I will say cursor dot get column by index, get column index. Okay, yes, get column index. Then I give it the index of the column. Which the index of the column? Here you go. This is dbmanager.column index, and you'll be fine. And you could get another information. This is cursor for user, as I told you. You could also get cursor dot get column index. Which column I want to get? I want to get, for example, password or so. Here you go. Add the password, and also it'll be fine. So I just, to be more clear, I will add this semicolon between this both, so you could move, and between one another I will add this 2 data, so you just see everything. So just again to be more clear for you, I get data as a table. So if it's a table, first thing I move to the first row. If I have data, okay, he will continue. If not, he will be here. So if I have data, I just first, for every row he moving on, I just getting the name and getting the password inside the row, then moving to the next row, and by the end I will have all the data saved in the table data. Now I want to, when he done, I want to display it in the message. Okay, when the while done, please display this data in the message. If you remember, I already have data in my database, so now if I just click load, I have to see this data. Let me just making sure, just make load, see this is all the data that I have it. Yes, now I think we done. but there is something mistaken. If you see, he give you the ID only. I don't want to have the ID. I want to have the data. This two code is getting the ID for the column. I want to get the data. I will say, okay, that's okay. I will say, if this one get me the ID for the column, I will say, okay, cursor dot get the string for the column. There you go. Now I could get the data. See how I could access the cursor, get all column to the index. It give me just the index of the row. Now I could get the value inside that index, because that give me the number. I don't need number, I need the data. So now refresh, you say Hussein password, Jana password, Leah password. Everything is cool. Let me go to the next video and just organize this data in list view.